Hi guys, it's me, Dr. Morgan. I just finished giving you some feedback on your family resource management projects, and some of you I gave a lot of feedback, and some of you I gave feedback that might not have made sense, and some of you maybe did an in between, and some of you I know have already signed up to meet with me. And in hindsight, I'm kind of wishing I would have made that a requirement, but I also know that can be difficult logistically to meet with me, but also some of you just might not want to, and that's okay too. Just know that I designed this project intentionally, I would say vague, because I want it to make sense to you and be meaningful to you. And so I really am okay with a lot of what you do. But there are a few things that I want to make sure that we all do in our projects. And I want to set you guys up to be successful and not to be like, present a project and then me be like, that's not what I wanted. And you being like, I tried to do my best, So that's not fair to any of us. That's not what learning's all about. So just to make sure that we're all on the same page. And I think this is pretty clear in the directions, but if not, I might go back and edit those after I post this video just for you to look back on. So one of the biggest things is that it needs to be clear to all of us that this is linked to something you're learning this semester, right? I want you to come out of this class with something different based on what you've learned. So for some of you, you're thinking about the same topic throughout your time in your master's program. You're thinking about early childhood education, you're thinking about human sexuality, you're thinking about resources for low-income families, you're thinking about, I think those are some good topics. You're thinking about parent education. And so for some of you, every single class you take, you might be thinking, okay, here's my topic, it's parent education. How am I thinking about parent education differently using the concepts in family resource management? How am I thinking about parent education differently when I take family resilience? How am I thinking about, you get what I'm saying. And for others of you, you're like, oh my gosh, new class, new topic. I get to pick something different to study. So that's also okay. The point is, and that's not also okay, it's great. All of these things, what you need, all of these things are good. And what matters is that you're investing in your future as a professional or as a human being with a master's degree in family community services or applied family sciences. I think those are the two programs we have in class. So, right? So the project needs to be something different than you would do in a different class, just a slightly different take. So examples of that would be thinking about resources and how are you framing your topic as a resource. So for example, one of your colleagues is very interested in sexuality education. And so how do you frame what you do for this class in terms of sexuality education, of family resource management? So would you have an opening that would say, that would tell us why you think and what the research says about human sexuality being and healthy communication related to sexuality as a resource for families. So that's one approach. You might have a better idea of how to frame and connect your topic back to the concepts we're discussing in class. So there's, sorry, my nose is itching. There's so many different concepts we're talking about in class. So, right, it could be related to values. So another one of you is thinking about topic on blended families. So I started thinking about, gosh, wouldn't it be interesting to think about how you could help support blended families by encouraging them or developing a workshop or developing materials to help blended families think about their values and how their values shape decisions they make as families, right? As blended families have some really unique issues related to time and energy and money and other kinds of resources. Fill in the blank. There's a lot of really unique and cool challenges that I think could be of benefit to families if they really kind of started very intentionally on their journey as a family and thinking about their values and their goals. So those are just two examples. But I think for all of you, just make sure that that's really clear to us, the connection between your topic and what we're learning in class this semester. So you will do that when you submit it, in a lot of different ways. It could be like a orienting document, maybe just a blurb you put in. I'd have to really think about that, what that looks like on the submission box, but I think you'll all figure that out. And then also remember that we want your classmates to get something out of this. So that's, if you look at how I'm going to be grading this, that's one of the biggest things, is that I want each of you to learn something from your colleagues' presentation. So even if you're doing something on blended families and you think, again, picking on the blended families person, your colleague, well, even if I'm not in a blended family, I'm not working with blended families, there's a lot of blended families in my world, and I'm going to be a better human if I better understand those resources and challenges. Plus, yeah, and you just never know when it might impact you. I think it's really powerful and really useful. It just helps you be a better person if you're like, gosh, by reading through this workshop, I can see it's going to be really cool, or this outline of a workshop, it's going to be really cool. And I also learned something about blended families. Another one of your colleagues is thinking about doing something related to student athletes. And so even if I'm not a student athlete, and I actually, for me personally, Carrie, I work with a lot of student athletes, so I think anything related to student athletes can be useful to me. But again, for you as a fellow human being, when what your colleague posts, we should all be able to read it and take away something that helps us be better connected to people in our world, indirectly or directly, that are student athletes. And also a lot of information isn't unique to that audience. So the same thing like with the blended families example. Talking about values and goals I could still take something away from that even as a family that's not blended. It's whatever you would call that. I don't know. See, even the language is weird. So all types of families can benefit from thinking about values and goals. Same thing, anyway, I think you get my point. So I want you to present enough in what you submit that we learned something. So a lot of you, I'm recommending that you're just developing an outline. So your outline, like telling us, this is what it's going to look like. I'm developing a curriculum on social emotional learning, and this is what it's going to look like. But there's enough in there that we learned something about your content, and then also can kind of see how you would design a workshop or a newsletter series or a website or something like that. And then remember, I also really encourage you all to think about activities. And so maybe some of you would have activities that we would do or think about related to your topic. So I guess I'm saying don't let this stress you out too much, even though those are really my two guiding principles, right? It's connected to class, and that you submit enough information that we learn something about your topic. And then ideally that it's in a format that would be useful to you. And it could be, I think for many of you, this time is too short for you to have a totally, completely done project that's ready to turn into a podcast tomorrow, or that's ready to be a newsletter series tomorrow. That takes a lot of time. But I hope you'll come out of class with a really, really good foundation of a resource that can be used that will help people better understand topics that are relevant and related to this class, and that you're coming out of this class with new and different ways of thinking about the topics that are interesting to you. So hope that was sort of useful and relevant. And again, email me. I'm finding that email really leaves a lot to be desired as a way of communicating and the messaging, and I'm happy to talk with you, but email also can work. So just let me know, and just know that I'm here. I don't want you feeling anxious. I want you enjoying this process, not doing too much, not doing too little. So there's that. Okay, I'll see you guys later.